Alright, Joseph, what do you have for the promo tins?
It's Dark Magician!
This is the 7th year in a row that the promos have been Dark Magician.
I mean, you're still gonna buy it, right?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. Inside of you are two wolves. One hates Dark Magician, the other remains steadfastly committed to the algorithm. You are a Yu-Gi tuber. Today we're going to look at what the tins brought to Atem's flagship archetype, and spoiler, it ain't much. Presenting Dark Magician. Before we begin, if you're on the fence about subscribing, let me sweeten the pot for you. Click that little button below the video and I promise to kill Dark Magician in real life so we can finally have product that isn't DM support. So here's the list and, oh, what's the matter? Did someone get addicted to Magician's navigation? As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is an online strategy site for our mutual favorite card game. It's got a deck builder, card database, and a wealth of strategy articles. It's also where I post the Quarantine Series deck breakdowns, so give it a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. So with that, let's dive into Dark Magician. Dark Magician is a tumor that Yu-Gi-Oh! Would do well to excise. A blight on the theoretical future of the card game, unshackled from the bonds of nostalgia. Duelists, cast off your chains, break the cycle of DM reprints. We can strive for a third deck. Anyway, Dark Magician is a deck centered around a normal monster, so it's got nowhere to go but up. Aside from a brief stint as the 7th best deck in Inov format, it's never been metagame relevant, despite Konami's double-digit attempts to inject some semblance of playability into this languishing archetype. Their latest is introducing 4 cards, literally the entirety of the promotional material of the most hyped product of the year, to the aging magicians. Even then, 2 of the 4 are literally unplayable, 1 is semi-relevant but outclassed by last year's promos, and the last one, Dragoon, is actually its best shot yet at metagame relevance. You're going to hear a lot about Dragoon in the coming months, so it's important to reinforce this now. Dragoon is, in fact, a Dark Magician card. Its material is Dark Magician and either a Red Eyes or a Dragon-type effect monster. While most people will be using the ever-present Verte Anaconda to make Dragoon, and don't get me wrong, we will be doing that as well, we're privileged that another reasonably powerful card, Keeper of Dragon Magic, can also make this Dragonic Dingus. And of course, no deck featuring spellcasters would be complete without the Selene combo into Access Code. Ideally, we'll be able to use Dragoon and Access Code to simplify the game state and the interaction between Circle and Eternal Soul to clean up whatever remains. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Firstly, our vanillas, 3 DM and a Red Eyes. That's followed by 3 Apprentice, 3 Keeper, 3 Rod, 3 Souls, 3 Veiler, and a Spellbook. For spells, we're on 3 Circle, 3 Soul Servant, 1 Secrets of Dark Magic, 2 Knowledge, 2 Secrets, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, 1 Polymerization, 3 Infip, 3 Soul, and 1 Destined Rivals. In the extra, we're on 2 Goons, Dragon Knight, Dark Magician, Big Eye, Ebon Illusion, Access Code, BLS, Unicorn, Selene, Phoenix, Hauk, Verte, Imduk, and Anima. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Dragon Maid. At the time of recording, I was only playing 1 Dragoon in the extra deck, a fact I changed immediately following the conclusion of this game. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Rocket Synchron. Next, they'll activate the hand effect of Airness to summon a Nurse from hand, go into a Striker Dragon and a Romulus. I'm pretty sure that something is up. Next, they'll activate Dragon Ravine, pitching this copy of Rocket Synchron from hand in order to send a Parlor to the graveyard. Finally, they'll Guard Dragon back this copy of Nurse, activate Nurse's effect to bring back Parlor, and Parlor's effect in order to send Chamber. How much farther could they realistically go? Oh. Alright, well, LP will trigger, getting a copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, which will bring back the Chamber. Chamber will trigger, getting a Hospitality to hand, and next they'll make a Saruya. They'll activate Saruya's effect, keeping a Parlor in hand before activating Pisky to bring back Chamber. Next they'll activate Saruya's effect to summon the Parlor, and Hospitality's effect in order to summon back this copy of Airness. I'm a little foggy on what... Oh my god. Oh my god, can we out this? Well, 5-headed Link Dragon does have a timer attached to it. We're gonna go for our one and only copy of Dragoon with Polymerization, but Oh god, all we have to do here is live for 3 turns. At end step, 5-headed Link Dragon will banish 5 cards from the graveyard face down, and our opponent top decks a chamber! Thankfully, they activated in main phase 1, so we are able to negate with Dragoon, and then take 1,000 on the crackback. This Eternal Soul is going to have to do a lot of work for us. At end step, we'll activate it to get some monsters in defense position, I suppose. We have nothing in the extra that can deal with this. We draw an Ash Blossom for turn, we'll pass it back to our opponent, we'll activate Eternal Soul at our end step, summoning back a Dark Magician, 2 on the field, hopefully it's enough. For turn, they draw a Nurse, fantastic. They'll activate Nurse's effect, bringing back the chamber. I neglect to Ash Blossom here, what a mistake. They'll activate Hospitality in order to summon back a copy of Parlor and send a copy of Lorepar. I finally cut my losses and negate the effect of the Parlor, but as they proceed to the battle phase, they're able to bring back not only an Airness, but also a Lorepar. That's going to get over my Dark Magicians and force the activation of Eternal Soul in the battle phase, lest I want to take 5,000 damage. There goes the Dark Magician, and then at the end of the battle phase, there goes the Airness. In main phase 2, they'll trigger Airness's hand effect to summon back the Parlor and go into Hieratic Seal. That's quite bad. We draw a copy of Souls, I'll normal summon the Souls and then activate its effect, pitching this copy of Eternal Soul since we have another one set. We'll activate Eternal Soul, and though we've drawn a couple of traps, neither of them are particularly relevant. At end step, our opponent will activate 5-headed Link Dragon, 2 cards remain in the graveyard, we could do it! They'll go to Unchained A-Bomb, and oh god, this is really bad. Oh no. Okay, 2 Eternal Souls down, 1 to go. They'll get in for 5,000. I can't realistically activate Eternal Soul until after that Unchained Abomination has triggered. Thankfully, my opponent loses the 50-50. We're able to summon back a copy of Dark Magician and maybe get off to the races next turn. Oh my god, Soul Servant might do it. We're going to activate Soul Servant in order to put a copy of Rod on top of our deck before activating the Grave effect of Soul Servant so we can normal summon the Rod, activate its effect for a copy of Circle. We'll activate Circle, and thank god we find a Dark Magician. We'll activate Eternal Soul to summon the Dark Magician from hand, then activate Dark Magical Circle in order to banish our opponent's copy of Unchained Abomination. We'll Celine to get back the Dragoon of all things, and access code is fantastic here, not only because it allows us to destroy the Dragon's Ravine, but also because it has more attack than 5-headed Link Dragon. Now, of course, it can't be destroyed by battle, but the good news is they are almost out of cards. They draw a quick launch, they're going to use it to go into a Rocket Synchron. If they get one more card into their graveyard, that's an extra turn of Link God, so I'm going to go ahead and banish it before activating the graveyard effect of Rod so that we're not taking any damage. For turn we draw... Oh, an Effect Veiler. Too little too late, really, but Magician's Rod should be enough. We're going to get a Soul Servant to hand, then activate Eternal Soul to banish our opponent's last remaining card, that copy of World Legacy Guard Dragon. We'll activate Soul Servant, and then get ourselves the AoE Negator off the top of our deck. At end step, 5-headed Link Dragon is finally defeated. Our opponent top decks World Legacy Guard Dragon, which is a great card, but unfortunately, as they go for the Nurse Dragon Maid, we can fire off the Effect Veiler, negating its effect. We'll activate Eternal Soul to banish it, and then, finally, our opponent will concede. Whew. Well, didn't expect to kick this episode off with the raid boss, but here we are. Our second match is up against Infernoble Knight, and thankfully, this time we're going first. Let's see what Dragoon can accomplish. We're going to lead with a copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician, pitching a Soul Servant, which is choice by the way, before normal summoning a copy of Keeper of Dragonic Magic and activating its effect to summon this Dark Magician back in face-down defense position. We'll polymerize those 2 away for a copy of Dragoon before firing a Spellbook of Knowledge to draw a couple of cards. We'll activate Soul Servant, draw a Magician's Rod off the top, and then pass it back to our opponent. Our opponent's going to start with a Neospace Connector. I will negate this by pitching the Red Eyes Fusion, at which point they're going to activate Heritage of the Chalice, set 2, and pass. Whew, feels good. We'll activate Eternal Soul to bring back a Dark Magician, and we should be able to win from this position. For turn we draw a copy of Spellbook of Secrets. Let's thin the deck a little bit. We'll use it to get a copy of Knowledge before normal summoning a copy of Rod. We'll activate Rod's effect for a Dark Magical Circle, which we will activate, and find a Soul Servant off the top. We'll fire off the Spellbook of Knowledge, then activate Eternal Soul. Our opponent will chain Called by the Grave, we'll chain Dragoon, and they'll chain the second Called by the Grave. No matter, with the Apprentice Illusion Magician in our hand, we still should be able to win. We're going to summon it, activate its effect, get a Dark Magician in hand, and proceed to battle phase. 16, 2k, and 5k is lethal. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing Dogmatica Eldritch, and I have to say, I am so personally touched not only by their commitment to control during this historic combo format, but also by their willingness to lose games. We're going first. Let's set up a board they can't break. We're going to lead with a copy of Magician's Rod. Of course, we already have the Circle in hand, so we'll go for Soul. Next, we'll activate Apprentice Illusion Magician for a Dark Magician before Link summoning a Verte Anaconda and getting out the Dragoon. We'll fire off a Dark Magical Circle next, and... whiff. So we can set the Eternal Soul and pass. For turn, our opponent draws another trap. They'll set 5 and pass. Control, ladies and gentlemen. You may not like it, but this is peak Yu-Gi-Oh! We'll activate the effect of Circle and the graveyard effect of Rod to put it back into our hand. For turn, we draw a copy of Souls. That's fantastic. We'll fire off Soul. They'll activate Dragma Punishment on our Verte Anaconda, setting it in Intis. And as we trigger the effect of Circle, they'll Intis to destroy it. I'll activate the effect of Goons. They'll activate Gozen Match, which does nothing to us. We're going to normal summon a copy of Magician's Rod before firing off a Dark Magical Circle for a Soul Servant. We'll fire off the Soul's next, special summoning it, and this should be the end of the game. We'll draw a couple of cards in the process before making Celine and activating her effect so that we can summon back a spellcaster from our graveyard and link summon into, you guessed it, the big boy himself. We'll activate Access Code twice, banishing both the Verte Anaconda and the Celine before getting in for 3,000 and 5,300. Well over lethal. So it's time for game 2, and while our opponent's hand isn't fantastic, this game neither is ours. Our opponent will set 3 cards and wish us good luck. Oh boy. For turn we draw a Red Eyes Black Dragon. Fantastic! We'll activate Spellbook of Secrets and normal summon a copy of Blue Boy for knowledge. We'll fire off this knowledge and be met with an Ash Blossom. Fool! Now I'm able to proceed to the battle phase and do 500 points of damage to your life points! And that's time in the round, ladies and gentlemen. We'll pass it back to our opponent, who for turn draws an Eldlixir of White Destiny. Hey, you gotta get Eldritch out of the hand somehow, huh? They'll attack over our copy of Blue Boy, and then at end step we'll activate Soul Servant to put a Magician's Rod on top of our deck. For turn we draw the Rod, we'll normal summon the Rod, get a copy of Dark Magical Circle, and find, off the top, nothing, once again. Oh, God. We'll go for Apprentice Illusion Magician to get a DM to hand, and then fire off Polymerization, hard summoning Dragoon. We can activate Soul Servant at this point to draw a card, so Dragoon is live. We'll pop their monster and proceed to the battle phase, getting in for 3,000, negating the Dragma Punishment, 2,000 and 1,600, which, shockingly, is lethal. So we're back with the deck, and I mean, let's be real, the Dogmatica player absolutely bricked. But hey, we won before they drew out of it, and that's what really counts. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. There are still parts of this deck that look impressive. When you can get into a position that you're resolving a circle every turn, the thing looks absolutely unbeatable. 2. It's extremely close to hitting a critical mass of good stuff. We can finally shed clunky garbage like Magician's Navigation for the unreal consistency boosters of Soul Servant and Magician's Souls. And 3. Goons is good. Goons is real good. It's good as hell. And the cons. 1. Everyone is going to have to contend with Goons. In 5 short days, Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be a game where pretty much every setup can conclude with this big purple jerk, so every single deck under the sun is going to be packing outs. 2. Let's be reasonable here. It's a tall order to resolve Circle and keep Soul on the field, provided that you're going second. And 3. Aren't you sick of DM yet? Aren't you interested in seeing what could be? How long? How long are we going to play this game of dark magic? All in all, it's the best version of Dark Magician yet, even in context, but its flagship monster is too abusable to make these magicians a standout. So that's that. As always, thanks to my patrons, Meatmoto27, Dominic Ernst, Harrison Karp, Alex Perea, Blue Boy, Candyman, Crispy, Dimsum05, Intercrest, King Magic Ruler, Meteor Mirage, Mike Carlotti, Rose Lapine, Seeker, Space Dandy 1993, Sir Tachyon, Stevie Blunder, Tyler Slacks, Tyrese Biggums IV, Adam Trevino, Adrian Bra, Amid Elefandi, Algis Marcin Kavicius, Andrew Benson, Andrew Horseman Linderman, Angry Bread, Apex Systems, Billy Williams, Blake Root, Candine, Chad Bortz, GB Gohan, Chorps Away, CJ Alex, Connor Kid, Dan the Man Hoban, Darcy Taves, Devin Dees, Dylan Connolly, Donnie Phillip, Doncoro, Distrin, Emperor Stove, Ernesto Ibarra, Fighting Fang Wong, FUTR, Gamer Games, Gavin Charlikowski, Gustavo Sicon, Isaac Jackson, Jane Linya, Jared Lorman, Jason Leonard, Jeff Leonard, Geldu Rado, Jose Luis Cortez, Kybacorp Chill, Corey Hess, Gurikaze, Lavender Lemonade, Lawrence, Lucas Geardas, Lucky Number 5, Lucas Arizo Hansen, Meadow Edits, Meds for Feds, Mezzo Emrys, Michael Oskvar, Miyuna Arashi, Moira Brownwolf, Nick Extreme 99, Nick Dolores, Bro of P2, Bro Yugi Dad, Samsoon, Second Sophie Forster, Standards Objective, Swag Kage, Tim Holloway, You're His Best, Zach Janchewski, Zach McKee, Bleh, Dive Missile, Josh, Picnic Blasted, This Machine 237, TJ Steakhouse, and Yukio. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the process, follow me on Twitch as well. See you next time.